Oh boy, what a week it's been, ads.
What
My
is happening?
gosh. Is it alt season? No, we did go over this with our guys on Tuesday night. So many people call for alt season. I think we see these little mini alt seasons. The alt market cap is looking phenomenal at the moment. So I think our exposure, or certainly my exposure to alts and what we've been posting inside our inner circle over the last couple of weeks has been pretty alt based. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, we're always trading BTC. That's our main portfolio. But ads, it might be worth just going over what has happened in the last week, some of the trades that we've made, some of the things that we're looking at last week.
And even
Yeah,
stuff that we've gone through on the Tuesday night was pretty bang on as well, Ty.
oh man, it's been phenomenal. But at the same time, it's very easy, isn't someone who guys like us that have been trading for the last few years to get caught up in the hysteria. So we this week we actually interviewed Zoran Cole. If you know who Zoran Cole is, he was someone that we came across about a year or so ago after he made this monster $1 million ETH trade
That's
on
crazy.
BitMEX. Yeah, it was phenomenal. So we sat down and spoke to him this week, and he ran through the statistics. It's a numbers game. He said the more wins that you have, the closer and the more likely you are to a loss. So it
Yeah,
certainly
yeah,
rings true
that's
in
true.
situations like this, where particularly my alt exposure has been very high the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So while it's very easy to get caught up in the hysteria of making sats and trading shitcoins and making bitcoins, as they say, certainly don't get too caught up in the hype, or don't get too arrogant. But certainly this week and the last fortnight has been phenomenally profitable for a lot of our guys inside the inner circle, and we're really starting to see the things that we teach and have been for the last couple of years really flourish with some of you guys. So for any of you guys from the IC listening in or watching this, we couldn't be more proud of you. So let's have a little bit of a look at the last week ads, and then we're going to get into Bitcoin, some of the major alt caps. Keeping in mind too, when people are talking about these alts exploding and the lower cap altcoins exploding, yes, they can pop very fast, but also they can decrease just as dramatically as we did
Oh
see with
yeah,
ICX. So if you are
yeah,
FOMOing into any positions, certainly take the time to step back, do your TA, look at things from a macro scale, and don't FOMO into any of these coins, because that's how you get burnt.
yeah. Look at things unbiased. That's the main thing.
100%, no
Or
emotion
try
in a
to.
trade. It's just a project, or in many cases just a white paper.
Yep.
That's going to make you some dollars. So yeah, let's get into this ads. We don't want this to be too long for the people joining us. Thank you so much. Please feel free to share this or comment and like it. All the things like that, for anyone you think might want to know a little bit more about trading and what we're seeing. So let's go through a couple of them. Ads. What have we got up first on?
BTC.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at some of our wins from last week, perhaps through our inner circle, some of the
All right.
coins that we've been charting this week. There's a little bit of a look behind the scenes of some of the
Where
things
are
that we
we? Coin
do
watch
here.
list. There we
So
go.
that's an active trade. So we'll go up and we'll see how that one goes next week. That's on ZRX that we're
Yep.
certainly looking for. We'll keep going up. Raven having a little go at the moment. I think that is
That's
that
Matic.
Raven.
That's
Matic.
Matic.
Matic's having a little move at the minute
Yep.
as well. Or actually, ads, go to our trade channel on the left hand side there. That's probably the most active ones
The
that we've
charts
been
and
sharing.
chats.
No, trading results down the bottom there in
Oh,
the
okay.
general channels.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. So if you've in our Discord, you can see some of the wins that we've been having over the last week or so. ADA making some serious sats there. I think we're at 155%. That was just at a 10x leverage, of course. So 15 and a bit percent is what we made on ADA. And as we continue upwards, I think we had ONT as well.
At ETH,
ETH,
RVN,
EOS, RVN,
ZRX,
ZRX.
FET,
Yeah, FET
or
was actually a good one. That took a
Fetch.
little, yeah, that took a little longer to play out than what we would have hoped. But patience was key there, and I think for anyone playing this market at the moment, I did enter a bat position on Tuesday. Enjoyed a little bit of the run up. It did dump pretty hard when BTC had that move, and a little while ago, I probably would have jumped out of that at a loss because I was just a little bit fearful of losing sats and losing position on that. But glad I held it because a lot of these olds do seem to be recovering after this BTC move as well. So that's some of the stuff that we do inside our inner circle. Feel free to come and join us if you like. You can DM us or come and join the fun. We've been having a lot of fun as of late. So BTC ads, let's get right into it. What are we seeing on BTC at the moment? We knew that this 9-8, between 9-8 and 10 level, 10 in particular, a really big psychological level, has always been a very big psychological level for BTC. 9-8 is sort of where we thought we would get a bit of resistance. And one thing that we did mention today too inside our inner circle is that a lot of these positions now, if we think that it's 9-2 or 9-3 or whatever the TA suggests, are often getting front run. It's a good idea to either place your buys or your sells just a little bit higher or lower than what the TA sort of suggests on the charts, or indeed you could dollar cost average into a position if you certainly want to do that as well. But yeah, one thing that we've kind of seen play out quite a bit in the last couple of weeks is these positions getting front run.
Yeah, that's right. It's happening more and more often, Ty. So
100%.
Anyway, from last week we had this supply drawn in here at about the 9-3 level. And since then, we've had our bounce off that midterm demand just here at 8.2 and coming up and bouncing on at that supply. Since then, we've pushed through it. So that automatically invalidates that level of, or that level of supply, that zone there, that order block, if some of you may call it that. And then we've done it more than once and 3 times again before dropping back to just shy of 9,000, about 9.1 or 990 on that. And then coming up, because we pushed through that level, it's now invalidated and we can shoot for targets above. So the current target was that candle there at around the 9.8 to 10,000 level, which Ty did mention, but we just missed out on that. So look, not to say that we won't get there, but it's going to take a little bit more volume to do that. And honestly, if it does smash through that, and I'll draw it in for you.
And that was one thing that we mentioned as we do post our daily charts, our daily BTC chart every morning and a couple of times throughout the day inside our inner circle, that once that supply was breached, or once again we came back up to that supply, I was looking for sort of 8, 9 or 9. And I did say, listen, we've got to be careful here, and this might be a time to start looking at some entries around 9 because it would be front run. Sure enough, we did 950. And as we approached that supply level, we said that it was very, very weak. And there was a chance that we were going to bust through it.
Yeah.
So that was the beauty of supply and demand there working out lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm pretty confident that we'll probably get there in the short term, to be honest. Not too far away and not a lot of volume. Not a lot of volume we'll need to get there. So yeah, 9.850 is probably the next point of call for BTC, in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very interesting to see that. I'd really like to see a confident daily close here. Looks like we've got a little bit of a sort of a doji at the moment, looking at what we've got here. And we do have a little bit of a sort of a parallel channel playing out as well. If we do draw our sort of our lines from like the 3rd of Jan, just at the bottom there where you've got that demand block there adds to. Yeah. So a little bit of a parallel channel sort of playing out there. So it would sort of match up with our next supply there. I did have my fibs drawn from that swing low at December 18 up to the swing high that we have here now on the 5th of Feb. And we're just sort of teetering around that previous high there. What I'd really like to see is sort of a confident break of this level here and close strongly on the daily, not necessarily seeing that just at this point, but yes, certainly that the next level there would sort of be 10.4, 10 or 10.45.
Yeah,
is probably where I would be looking if we can confidently close here. It's a very nice daily candle preceding this one. So it's very interesting times at the moment to see where things are headed.
Absolutely. And the not to mention that the major supply zone is at that price, at the 10.450 mark, where we've got this big consolidation or pause in the market and then a retest of that level too. So that looks good to me.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun trading this in the last little bit. I was just ads had said to me as I jumped on beforehand. I've sort of been going mental inside our charts and chats channels and our inner circle channels, posting 4 or 5 alt setups a day, or following a handful of volts on the daily. And Ad said to me this morning, said, how have you got so much time during the day to chart? And I said, well, I don't. I said, I've been getting up early. I've been getting up around 5 o'clock and would do my morning
That'll do it.
routines and stuff that I talk about a lot, and dedicating about an hour or so, hour and a bit each morning to finding trade setups, charting it, and just going back and looking at it during the day or entering
Yeah.
any position. So that's, I wouldn't say it's a sacrifice because I'm a morning person anyway, but certainly, when there's opportunities that arise here, and unfortunately because of the time zones that we are in, it's I don't want to be
Yeah.
up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So if I can get up at and start trading around 6 or 5:30, then finding a number of setups that I wouldn't have had I been looking during the middle of the day.
Yeah. Very good. Awesome, man.
Cool. All right, let's get into F. Another one that we've been following very closely. F is on an absolute rampage at the moment. And funnily
Absolutely
enough,
is.
when I was talking Friday morning about 5 o'clock our time here, it's about 2 o'clock his time in the States, we went through and we did our podcast, and then we sort of jumped off, and I kept recording, and Zoran's fine to share this. Obviously, we jumped on and we started trading together, and we were looking at Ichimoku and how he trades a few things, and we came across F, and he's like, dude, he goes, I think there's a pretty killer setup here on F, and it was an edge to edge play out, and it looks to have played out absolutely perfectly. So I'm sure Zoran won't be watching this, but that was absolutely killer. And yeah, this was a really good trade for us. We set our entry, or our entry position was at that 185 once. Actually, it was one on my chart that I posted. It was it was literally bang on. It was 18,508 was the point, and we got a bounce directly off it. So unfortunately, I only took about 10% trade on that, where I reduced half my profit, half my position rather, and just sort of let the rest run. So it's been quite good thus far. But again, where we've got our fibs drawn at the exact same spot there. So looking at it, what we see often with fibs, whether it be to the upside or the downside, is that when we get a confident break above the previous resistance being the 0 fib line, if we can get a confident daily break within it, we're finding as of late, really, and so much beforehand, we very quickly get to that 27 fib. And then when we break through with a very bullish daily engulfing, as we had there prior to this daily candle over the 27 fib, we often find that we get to the 61.8, where that becomes quite a heavy level of resistance, as it has here, and we can see that with our supply there as well. So at the moment, Steamroller is giving us our first daily breather since what looks like sort of the 20th of November, which is where we had our last sort of very bearish MACD cross as well. We were pretty overcooked there on the CCI, and then before that was in the 4th of October. So in instances like this, where Steamroller gives us an indicator, this is where we start paying attention. But certainly I think it could potentially run up towards if we get a very high, I'd probably be looking for sort of 22720 would be the next point, which is the top of that. You do have your fib levels drawn. Oh no, you do have your fib levels drawn very similarly to me.
Yeah, but there's a lot of zones just to the left here that are
absolutely
quite good. If I just tick that one there. Yeah, that one there would be, look, honestly, if we start coming up here and start breaking this structure, the next target would be the 23,327, in my opinion, coming up if we start breaking some of these other supply zones. And looking like, if I actually nip that up and draw it properly, looking like we've actually touched, or just come up and touched the top of it. So it's going to be an interesting one over the next day or so with ETH on the daily chart anyway.
Yeah, it's been a pretty heavy breach into that supply. So it's interesting to see what happens on ETH at the moment. A lot of people saying that ETH will be the one to watch and will really be leading the altcoin charge this year. And I think people said that last year as well, and it kind of fizzled out. But this year it seems to have a lot more strength. So this is a really important time for ETH to see whether we can break through this supply and continue the momentum upwards. But certainly with a lot of these alts now, they from a TA perspective, a lot of them do need to cool off, but a lot of them
Yeah.
aren't even respecting TA at the moment. That's the power of FOMO and retail traders, isn't it?
That's the nature of crypto. That's the beast, mate. That's how it works.
That's it.
That's really how it works. It's just driven
That's
with
it.
FOMO and hype and everything like that.
100%.
So,
One that I'm pretty interested in watching at the moment, if we have a look at EOS, we've had a really, really good run on EOS, some really great trades on this one. And as we zoom out on the daily, we can see we're at a pretty significant level now
Again.
also for EOS. So at the moment, this is a pretty decent, certainly not a bearish daily candle at this close here. What have we got? We've still got another, and we've still got to wait for the next sort of daily close. But again, as we were just saying a moment ago, once we break above what is not only this supply here, but also the top of this fibs, I certainly see that 4990 or that 27 fib level on the cards.
If I nip that fib level up a bit,
yeah, you brought it up.
Yesterday's close or today's pretty much high, then that fib level, the 27 extension, really lines up well with the next supply zone at 5200 sats. So that looks all right. That looks all right.
It couldn't be too bad. Yeah, I tend to I'm finding that once it breaks above that previous resistance where the fibs were drawn beforehand, or wherever it is on your chart that you had them drawn, I find that I kind of just leave them and I let them play out, and they tend to be quite well respected. So I don't tend to move my fibs up as the price goes up, because I'm obviously looking for that next level of resistance. But indeed, this supply and demand levels that you've got here work out quite well.
You can even use the extension tool as well to give you those zones. So we're looking at the 2.618 or the 618 extension respected as we speak, and the 3.618 or the 3618 is close to the next supply zone. So that very may well be the next target.
Yeah, so let's see what happens. Again, another really nice little setup on EOS at the minute.
I like it.
Yeah, I do like it. One thing that we've been looking at for all you alt lovers, actually, we're looking at so many. We do want to try and keep this stream short. Another one that we were looking at, I think, or another one we've been talking about for the last few weeks, which has played out really well, has been RVN, Ravencoin. There was no denying that it has these pumps pretty, I wouldn't say they're exactly, it was around 30, 34 or 30, between sort of 30 and 45 days or something like that.
Yeah,
was how often these pumps would occur. And there was no denying that we had a little bit of a descending structure as well, which we broke out of. I think we ended up doing just shy of 13%, I think, on that first little pump off that demand ads, whatever that was. That was sort of a couple of weeks ago.
it's about 14%. And then coming down off that lower high, you're looking at a further 21, depending on if you were drawing fibs from this move here on a shorter time frame to pick it up again. But yeah, there's about 14% on the first move and about 20% on the second.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't last week or the week before. It was one of these streams that we did. I think it's our fourth or fifth one now, where we were saying that RVN was looking like a pretty decent pickup, and yeah, we were fortunate enough to get the W on that one.
Yeah, that's it. And right now, off demand, we're sitting at the 38.2 retracement, and we've been held up there for about 3 days now. So it's a little bit up in the air with the CCI having that lower high or that bearish div, and the same with the RSI as well, where we've got the two tops there too. So it's a hard call to say this is going to keep going up, but we'll have to wait and see over the next day or so. If this closes above the 38, we had a decent candle close on a daily and continue up to the 50 or the 61 tie.
Yeah, one thing that did give it to me, or that interested me when I was looking at this, and again, this comes from Zoran from about a year or so ago, when I really started checking out what he was up to, looking at the 2-day and putting the Ichimoku over that. If we look at where our 50 lines up to that on the 2-day ads, it's there.
Lines up real perfect.
Yeah, that's right. So it lines up very well with our Kumo cloud there.
Yeah.
At this point, I really wouldn't see it going any higher than 365 sats, at
No,
least
I agree.
in the short term. Admittedly, I'm in a position here and have been for a little bit, probably about 4 or 5 days, maybe. I was a little bit late to the party, but it still made 6 or 7% on that. So if we could get that, I think that would be a nice little win on that. But
Yeah.
again, not huge alt exposure, not huge exposure rather to Raven, just because of how violently this can dump at certain times. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. From history there, it's yeah. So just keep your stop losses in the right spot. In the right spot. If you are trading RVN. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. And just trying to look at some more alt setups. OMG is looking quite nice at the moment. If we go to OMG and put on our Itchy on the daily,
On the 1 day. Yep.
on the one
Oh, that
day.
actually does look really good.
Yeah, so that was one. Actually, ads, you were charting about a month or so ago,
Oh,
and
okay.
we did. You don't remember? I do. Yeah, we weren't really paying too much attention to it, but obviously looking at Itchy here, we've got a really nice bullish Kumo twist. We've got our Chiku, our Tenkan, and our Chiku, our Tenkan, and our Kijin have all breached through the cloud,
Yeah.
giving us some really nice bullish indicators there. But again, looking at the indicators, it is probably due for a little bit of a pullback. But
At
even
least.
so, looking at the structure to the left, there probably is a little bit of room to run there as well.
Yeah. The 1200 sats would be the would be that target I'd go for. But in the meantime, though, like you said, it does need to pull back. I'd be using fibs to really judge that one.
100%.
Oops.
What else can we take a quick look? Yeah, I actually drew my, probably wouldn't necessarily do it so much, but I drew my swing high from that point upwards on I drew my swing high from the 15th of November down to
Yeah.
the 8th of Jan.
Yeah.
Wasn't massively respected, but again, being
Oh, it's
yeah,
actually perfect on the 61.
that could work as well.
That's perfect there.
Yeah.
So that from this swing low to this swing high, picking it up off the 61 and then up again to the 61.
Yeah, and that's perfect. And that would be the 78.6 on the fibs that I've got drawn. So,
Nice.
yeah, a bit of confluence there.
Very good. Good one on OMG. Too bad we didn't call it earlier, but anyway. That's
Yeah,
all right.
I know, right?
Not a bad one.
Another one that we were looking at, or that has been Kaz, if you're watching this or you watch this back, she's a member from Inside Our Inner Circle who called this a number of weeks ago. It's provided a couple of nice little trade setups, but
Wow,
one
yeah.
thing, geez, I wish I could annotate on Matic.
Oh, Matic, sorry.
Matic.
You cut out there for a sec. There you go. Perfect.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, we can sort of see this sort of repeat descending structures playing out. I think I posted it inside our actually I did inside our Discord. I posted a chart there as if you want to bring, yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw that
seeing
one.
this recurring pattern play out. We have this descending structure, we have a pop. We have this descending structure, we have another pop, and we seem to have got the same sort of thing again now. If you look at it on the 4 hour, we've had a little pop out of here. So far, I think it's done 3% or something since we called it earlier today. So just little things like that. I think you just got to spend your time and be looking at certain things to find potentials like this here. So yeah, having a lot of fun trading at the moment.
Nice, man. It's been really good. The market's been pretty decent and giving some decent trade setups if you've been paying attention anyway.
Yeah, certainly. But yeah, don't go chasing these trades. Chasing these trades rather. If you want to stick to BTC and ETH and maybe ADA or something like
Yeah.
that, that's certainly a good way to do it. Admittedly, probably my alt exposure right now is probably a little bit too high.
Yeah.
But I'm confident in my TA and that we can make some nice little trades here. So if anyone that's been trading, please feel free to hit us up. If you're having losses or you're having some major things happen, you're not alone. Please feel free to reach out to any of anyone inside the Inner Circle or our Discord. We have probably the best community I think that we've ever had in the 2 and a bit years that we've been doing this, and it's a profound pleasure to be enjoying it with everyone. So if you want to have a chat or share or be a part of this, please feel free to hit us up. We can go to unitytradinggroup.com. and come and join us inside Discord for a measly $30 a month.
Just a
Why do we
couple of
charge
cups
so
of
low?
coffee.
I do not know. That just covers our costs.
That's
So
it.
come and join us. Really looking forward to seeing you next Thursday, anywhere between 7:30 and 8:30. And of course, you can follow us on the socials and Unity Trading Group for a whole bunch of articles and videos. And there's content over there, all completely free, of course. How to trade Wyckoff, Fibonacci, Ichimoku, double bottoms, trading patterns, all the good stuff.
Whatever you like.
All for free. Anything you can think of, we've got it there inside UTG, and plenty more to come this year. So thanks again for joining us this Thursday. Looking forward to seeing you next Thursday. But yeah, do trade safe and trade smart, and we'll see you next time.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye.